Let's talk about the wealthy mindset. We're going to dive deep into the psychology behind it and figure out why some people seem to build success so naturally. What makes their thinking so different?
Have you ever asked yourself this? You see people who just seem to get it right, and it's really easy to just say, oh, they got lucky, or, well, they had a head start. But what if it's something way deeper than that? What if the real key is baked into the very framework of how they think?
Well, psychologists have looked into this, and they've identified a very specific mental framework. But here's the thing that's truly staggering. Just 2%. That's it. Only about 2% of people are believed to genuinely operate from this mindset. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to decode the key psychological signs of that 2%. And you can see for yourself if your own brain might be wired for this really unique level of success. Let's get into the first trait, which honestly is maybe the most counterintuitive one of all. Okay, trait number 1 is a high degree of what's called intellectual humility. It really boils down to the simple but incredibly powerful ability to admit what you don't know. So what does this look like in the real world? It means your ego takes a backseat to learning. Instead of feeling like you have to dominate every conversation or prove that you're right, your brain's default setting is active observation. You're listening, you're absorbing, you're gathering data. And this slide just nails the contrast. Over on the right, you've got the classic Dunning-Kruger effect, where someone literally doesn't know enough to see their own blind spots. But the 2% mindset on the left, it's the total opposite. For them, the more they learn, the more they see just how much is left to discover. And to them, that's an exciting opportunity, not some kind of threat to their ego. So, let's do a quick gut check. How do you feel about saying the words, "I don't know"? Does it feel like a sign of weakness to you, or does it feel like you're opening a door to learn something new? Your answer to that is a pretty huge clue. All right, building right on top of that idea is our second trait. Psychologists call it cognitive complexity. Basically, it's the ability to see the world in full color, not just in simple black and white. You know, this trait is so often misunderstood. To someone on the outside, it can easily look like you're being indecisive. But it's not hesitation, it's processing. It's your brain running through all the different scenarios and potential consequences that other people might just steamroll right over. Most people's gut reaction is binary, like you see on the right. This is good, that is bad, end of story. But a complex thinker, as you see on the left, immediately questions that first instinct. They connect the dots, they reflect on all the different angles before making a move. And that right there is the heart of high-level problem solving. Okay, this next one is a massive indicator, especially in the world we live in today. Trait number 3 is having a low social dependency. It's all about where you get your sense of validation from. I mean, we live in a world that pretty much rewards showing off, right? Well, this mindset deliberately chooses privacy over popularity. There's no nagging need to post every cool thing you buy or broadcast every single win, because that feeling of accomplishment, it doesn't depend on an audience clapping for you. And this is absolutely the key takeaway. When your self-worth is generated internally, you're basically immune to the pressure of keeping up with the Joneses. And this frees up so much of your mental energy and your money to focus on goals that have real, actual value to you. All right, on to our fourth trait. And this one might actually surprise a few of you. It's called selective organization, and it's all about putting efficiency way ahead of just appearances. Now, this is a sign of extreme mental efficiency, not laziness. It's the deep understanding that your energy is a finite resource, so you don't waste it on making everything look perfect for other people. You invest that energy where it's actually going to give you a return. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. Somebody might walk by, see a messy desk, and make a judgment. But underneath that surface-level clutter, there's often a perfectly structured digital filing system, a super organized workflow, and crystal clear financial plans. The organization is applied where it really, truly counts. And finally, let's get to the fifth trait, which is arguably the most powerful one of all. It's having a strong internal locus of control. Or, to put it simply, it's the core belief that you are the one driving the car. This is the foundation. It's the absolute, deep-seated conviction that you are the agent of your own success and your own failures. You don't see yourself as a passive victim of what happens to you, but as an active participant who can actually influence the outcomes. And here's where the rubber meets the road. When a challenge pops up, the external blame mindset immediately looks for who or what to point the finger at. Bad luck, the economy, the system. But the internal control mindset, it immediately asks, okay, what's the solution? What can I do about this? It's a total shift from blame to responsibility.
So let's run through them one more time. The 5 signs are intellectual humility, cognitive complexity, low social dependency, selective organization, and a strong internal locus of control.
If these traits are ringing a bell for you, if you're someone who questions things, who actually enjoys your own company, who's focused on the long game instead of short-term attention, you might have felt a little out of step with the world sometimes. But what psychology suggests is that you're not weird at all.
And that really brings us to the big idea here. These traits all together might just mean your brain is wired for a more profound, more sustainable level of success than what you typically see around you. It's like you're running on a completely different operating system.
So, I'll leave you with this question to think about. As you look back at this list of 5 traits, which one do you feel is your greatest natural strength? Because figuring that out, that's the first step to really leaning into it and making it work for you.